Hey everybody, this is episode 10 of Tandem Pod. We finally made it onto iTunes. It was a really long process trying to solve the hosting and process of submitting it to iTunes, but hopefully you're listening to this podcast on iTunes. If you're not, it's really easy to use on the app through your phone. If you subscribe to the podcast, you get a notification when there's a new episode, and it automatically gets downloaded for offline listening. So I know personally I subscribe to a lot of podcasts on it, and it's pretty handy. So yeah, check that out. As far as the SoundCloud goes, I'm going to be using it until the yearly membership that I paid for back when I started this podcast runs out. But after that, I just think there's no reason to continue using it. So I'm going to be using iTunes and YouTube from now on. So the guest for this month is Erik Karl. I started noticing his videos mainly when he released the montage called Left Field. I followed some of his videos before that, but they were a lot different than that video, and I think the scooter community in general took notice to him specifically from that video. So he's a scooter rider and filmer from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and he rides with a huge group of guys, and they make montages when it's warm out. So since the scooter community has really received these videos so well, I wanted to talk to him about his process and other related things. So here he is. So growing up in Minnesota, which activity did you do first, like snowboarding or skating or scootering?
When I was younger, it kind of started with going to the skate park because like snowboarding is pretty expensive. So it kind of started with me like on a target board.
So what made you get into scootering from there, like from the target board?
My sister had a scooter, and then I had a skateboard, and it wasn't like, I was into it, but I wasn't like totally into it. And then it was like a summer sort of like, I don't know, it was like a program for kids basically just to have something to do during the day. And it was at this like middle school by my house, and they had once a week, it was like wheel day where like kids would bring their bikes or like scooters or whatever. I don't even know. I think I just like lost track of the board or something. I took my sister's scooter, and it was like a micro fold up scooter. And I'm pretty sure it was like 21 or 22 long too. And then, yeah, I just kind of kept scootering after that, I guess.
I always wondered because I rode one of those long micros back in the day. And I remember it feeling like the deck was 30 long or something.
Dude, yeah, it felt really long. It like actually felt like a current scooter, like lengthwise.
Yeah, I was wondered if that's just because the scooters were so tiny back then. But one of my friends had one recently, and we measured it, and I think it was around 23. So it actually was.
Dude, yeah, a kid brought one. A kid brought one to like my local park and was like messing around on it. And I was like looking at it, and I was thinking to myself, like, it always felt really long, but you know, when you're a kid, everything feels bigger.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's funny. It was like actually that size.
Parrish told me, I mean, obviously Parrish is extremely into snowboarding, but he said that Minneapolis or like Minnesota in general is sort of like the California for snowboarding. Like everybody lives there. So, I mean, it seems natural that you would get into it. So how did you get into it?
I started with skiing, and it's funny because I started skiing with this girl when I was in like probably like second or third grade. I don't know, I probably thought she was like cute at the time or something. So she, like, her mom was saying she had no one to ski with or something like that. And I like made up this like totally blatant lie, like I've skied before, so I could go skiing with her. Yeah, so then basically like started with skiing, and then she got a snowboard and I wanted to try snowboarding, and then I just kind of got into it and like So I branched off and like met more people like at my local hill and just started riding with other people and things like that.
And at what point did the filming come into play? Like, what activity inspired it the most?
Probably going to the skate park like kick-started that, because like my mom got like this tiny little like digital camera, and she like barely used it. So I started like taking it to the skate park and like filming little videos and things like that. And then I just got really into filming and things like that. And then I didn't film snowboarding for like probably 2 or 3 seasons like of having a camera. It was like I can't remember why. I don't even know why like or how I started filming snowboarding. It just sort of like I just realized like I could do this there too. Sort of like, I don't know. I kind of just like kept on. I like filmed with like the local kids around me, and then it sort of turned into like filming with some of like the dudes who ride for like the local shop near me and things like that. So it just sort of like branched off, I guess.
And was it ever, like with scootering and with snowboarding, did you ever consider yourself one or the other? Like, did filming take priority over you snowboarding or you scootering?
Not really, honestly. They were like it was like really 50-50, because like I've always been like this, and I still am like this. Like I can't do one thing all year round, or else I honestly get like really bored of them. I kind of tend to like put like my all into both of those things, like once the weather is permitting for them. I really like doing both, like a lot of both, just because I find that like in the spring when I'm coming back to scootering, like I can kind of like do snowboard tricks on my scooter, and that's like really cool. But then at the same time, like in the fall going into the winter, like I can kind of like correlate scootering tricks to like snowboarding in a way too. So it's just kind of like different, I guess.
Yeah, that's what Pear said. I mean, that's how he's able to like spin in and out of grinds from snowboarding.
It's all the same idea. Like people do like, I don't know, like you kind of have to like snowboard, I feel like, to like totally understand it. But I mean, even like it's all shoulders. Like it's literally all the same movements. It's just that you have like handlebars.
Are the two worlds of scootering and snowboarding different, or are they more similar? I've like snowboarded for a couple years when I was like a kid, but I never really got into the area of like being around people who are good or filming or any of that.
I think like the mindset is kind of the same. Like I think everyone in scootering and snowboarding kind of has like the same drive to like, you know, learn new tricks and things like that. But like one thing that's so different in snowboarding is like filming at spots. We have to build the spots. We have to like literally like, I don't know, like filming here, like with the group of dudes that I film with mostly, like we'll get like 7 to 10 clips in a day, and that's like awesome. But like if we're like snowboard filming at spots and we get like 2, maybe 3 clips in a day, that's like really sick. It's kind of more work, I guess. We have to go to the spots, and like we also need different like ways of getting speed. Like we can't just push into like a rail. We have to like either use a bungee or like a drop-in ramp, or if it's like natural speed into it. Like I don't know. That's like the one biggest like difference I think between them is just like how you film it. It's just a different kind of filming. Like it just takes more time, I think. But it's like it's the best feeling though when you get something, just because it's like I'm on park crew at my local like ski hill. Like so I like build and maintain like lever like jumps or like lifts up to rails and things like that. I think the biggest thing about it is like getting a trick on something that you built is like a really like rewarding feeling in a way. So it's like it kind of like correlates the same to like going to spots. Like riding something that like you built feels like so good, I guess.
Have you ever heard the stigma? I feel like some people have different opinions on it in scootering, that it's like not cool to build stuff or like put wood down after handrails or like set up picnic tables into like crazy formations. So it's a lot different than snowboarding.
I've definitely heard that stigma. It kind of like depends for me. Like I think certain things are like more acceptable than others. Snowboarding some of the things we hit are like so big that we don't really have an option. Like I think, and two, like another reason I think why like so much of the things we hit are so big is just because it's like a bigger board. Like it's a bigger thing under our feet. Yeah, I've definitely like, heard the stigma of like it's kind of like not exactly like correct to film on something you built, but like I don't know. I think it depends on what it is, because there's like some DIY footage and stuff like that that I think is like super sick. If you look at like Polar Skate Co. along, I think it's like the railroad tracks or whatever. There's like that spot, and I think it's like Sweden or something. And there's like the metal fences and stuff. Like clearly people have built that, but like they just like make that look so sick on film.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely like actually like really constructing a spot. But what about bondoing angle iron to a ledge that doesn't slide, or like putting wood on the bottom of a handrail or stuff like that?
Oh yeah, like that stuff is kind of like a little bit too much, I think. Like when you start bringing like angle iron to spots, it's a little bit ridiculous. Like I'm not gonna lie, I do rub brick spots. Like there's been ledges and things like that I do like I'll use a rub brick to like get them really smooth, and then I'll wax them. But I've never really been down with like actually adding to spots, like pre-existing things, you know.
Have you ever seen the WEEKENDTAGE videos that Grant and Sarah used to make?
Think so.
There would be like 10-minute videos every video, and in it there would be around like 2-minute skits like about skate stuff.
Oh, I've definitely heard about them. I've never like watched one though.
There's this one where they're skating an indoor skate park, and they get this piece of like AstroTurf, like fake grass, and there's like a down rail at the skate park, and they put it at the bottom of the rail, and then they take a piece of plywood and they put it on top of the AstroTurf, and then they skate it. It's so funny.
What? That's pretty gnarly, dude. Yeah. That's like way more work for like a joke clip too. Like it's like a good thought though, for sure.
And they like drape the AstroTurf on the rail, and they're like grinding the AstroTurf on the rail.
That's sick.
What videos are you inspired by? Are there like other skate videos, or are you into like cinema, like feature films or documentaries? Or
I definitely watch more skating. Like obviously how I film and stuff is pretty it's pretty obvious like who it's influenced by. It's like, you know, William Strobeck. I really like John Wilson, like things like that. Like the 917 video I thought was really sick. Like I really like how that looks. Like I just think, I don't know, I just kind of think it shows like a little bit more personality when it's like almost looking like rough cut sort of.
And do you watch any other like actual like feature films or documentaries that sort of inspire you, or are you interested in that kind of stuff?
I watch like some Vice stuff. I don't really watch like much film stuff really. I kind of just like, honestly, dude, I get like the things I watch the most, I get like so distracted on YouTube, and I'll watch like prison or like drug documentaries and shit. Like that's literally what it is. Like, yeah, I tend to get pretty distracted.
Yeah, I mean that's what the people working at YouTube are trying to do. They're trying to keep you on there and advertise to you.
Yeah, dude, exactly, for real.
But I mean, for years, like I've been familiar with a lot of the full lengths that have come out of the Minneapolis area, like the skate full lengths, like Debris, Flow Trash. Yeah. I'm trying to think, like Thanku. Yeah, I followed all that stuff pretty closely, and it seems like there is a huge community of like people skating and filming there. Do you ever like hang out with any of those guys, or what is it like with scooters and skateboards there? Because I feel like in a lot of different cities, it's kind of like a different relationship.
I mean, I'm pretty cool with like a lot of the skateboarders here, just because like I did film like a lot of skating before scootering. Like I filmed a ton of skating when I was younger, and I started filming. I was like, there was like a group of kids at my skate park that I would scooter with, and then they all kind of like fell out of it. So for like a probably like a 2 or 3 year period, I was just filming skating just because there's no one really to scooter with. Whenever like I made a video called Left Field, and like ever since then, it's like I've just sort of like had a group of people to scooter with. I think it's pretty like natural here. Like a lot of skateboarders like get along with scooter riders. Like, I mean, there's definitely like everywhere. There's definitely like skateboarders that like do not like scooter riders, but I don't know. I think it's pretty like open here. Like I have a lot of skateboarder friends and things like that. Like I don't know. I think it's pretty open. I think everybody tends to kind of like get along with each other. Like all like, especially like my local skate park. Like everybody's talking with each other. Like everybody knows each other, and it's super like I don't know. Cause like my local skate park is like it's like 20 minutes or like half hour south of Minneapolis. I don't know. It's like a little more suburban, and it's like it's not like small. It's not small town, but it's like smaller than the cities for sure. So it's kind of like everybody sort of knows each other, and like I don't know. I like my local park a lot. Everyone's like really sick there.
When I was writing the questions for this, I was on your YouTube channel just looking at all your videos to think of questions, and I noticed that for a while you were using a DSLR, and then you switched to the HPX, which is an actual video camera. What was the reason for that switch?
Well, I was using the T3i, the Canon T3i for like a long time, and over time I just kind of got like kind of bored of the manual zoom. Like I just thought I could like, and I had friends who had like nicer camcorders with like automatic zoom and like P2 cards and was just like like higher grade cameras. And I just kind of thought like I could maybe do a little more with it. Like you can already do a lot with like, DSLRs and things like that, but I sort of just like, I liked it, but I kind of got like bored of it almost. I don't know, I just kind of like wanted to challenge myself a little bit more, because I felt that like if I had a little bit higher grade camera, then I would sort of have to learn like higher grade like skills to use with the camera. I guess I thought it'd be like challenging myself, which it did, because like I've had this camera now for like maybe like a couple of years now or so, and like I like just got the settings like how I like them, things like that.
The way you zoom in a lot of your videos and stuff like that, it's almost impossible with a DSLR.
Yeah, exactly. And two, like by the end of me using the DSLR, I was so into that style of filming that I like really wanted to make that work. And like I'd try, and like it would look like, I mean, it's like a similar idea, but it's nowhere near as smooth. Like,
I mean, it's so extremely expensive, but you can buy zoom lenses for DSLRs, and they have those automatic motors in them. But it's like,
it's pretty much seen those.
It's pretty much not even an option for most people.
Yeah, I've heard they're pretty expensive. I've never like looked into them, but I've definitely like heard they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it just for that lens is like more expensive than an entire HPX setup, so it's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
So it seemed like your montage Left Field. I followed your videos before that, but it seems like that was the one that made your videos really apparent to the scootering community, because it was so much different than what you had been doing before. And it got a lot of people talking. Like, I mean, at least like the people in scootering that I knew, like they were all talking about it. Did you get any feedback after making that video that you were like, okay, well, this worked with the new camera, like maybe I should keep doing something similar?
I've talked to like the dudes I scooter with before about this, and like I liked how those videos looked, and I'd never made something along those lines or like that style. I literally, when I was making it, I was honestly expecting people to not like it. Like I was literally just making it because I thought it like looked cool to me, and I didn't care what anybody else thought. So I just I like put it together like that, and then at the end I was like literally I was about to post it, and I was just kind of like, all right, like here, like here it is, I guess. And then I posted it, and like I guess people like took onto it, or it just sort of like got notoriety, I guess. I don't know, like it was just kind of random because I'd never like that was like the first video that I had ever sort of put out, and it just like people reposted it, things like that. Like I never had things get on like Scooter Resource or like Inside Scooters. It was just kind of like random to me in a sense, I guess. Because like the summer before that too, I was sort of like, or I don't know if it was the summer before that, I can't remember honestly, but before like that style of videos, like I was super into like Satori videos. I definitely like was into that style, and I sort of like I liked making videos that looked like that. And I was doing that, and like I don't know, there was like people like noticing it, I guess, but there nothing like what happened with like Left Field for sure.
And then after that came out, were you like, okay, what are we gonna do next? Like, we got to keep doing this?
Kinda, yeah, I guess. Like after that came out, like me and all my friends were like, "Holy fuck! What is like this? Like worked? Like none of us were really expecting anything to like come of it. It was kind of just like making a video, just like kind of for ourselves. Like it was not like for anything or anybody else other than us. Yeah, after it came out, we were kind of like, well, we should like, I guess we should just keep going. Like this worked, and like we enjoyed doing it, so like why not keep doing it?
Mm.
So then we filmed the next video was called, I think it was Letdown. Yeah, and then that was the next one. And I think that was like maybe a month or like a month and a half after that we filmed that, I'm pretty sure.
What makes you want to do the sort of like long montage format? And that's what you started with Left Field, and it's different than all these people, like all their clips are together, you know what I mean? It's like this person's footage is 2 minutes and then it switches to the next person.
I don't know. Well, I'm kind of the type of person that like I can't do one thing for a long time, or else I just get like I get really bored, or like I just kind of lose interest. And that's kind of how I am with videos too. Like I think video parts are awesome. And I think it's like a good showcase of like, I think a video part is a good showcase of like how someone rides and who they are. But I really like the montage style just because like if I get 5 minutes deep into someone's part, they could be doing insane tricks, but to me it's like they could mean those tricks like might not mean as much just because I've like seen them so much already. Yeah, I don't know. I like seeing like a lot of different things all at once kind of, and I think that's why I like that montage style too. I really like kind of having like a build up, like starting with really kind of mellow stuff and then like working into the bigger stuff. And I think that like sequence of editing and like filming is kind of easier to do when it's like montage style, because then it's just like you have it all in front of you.
For me, it actually shows that all of you guys are riding together, and it's cool to see different people ride the same spot. Like there'll be a segment of just one spot and different people are riding it.
That's definitely another thing too. I kind of forgot to mention, like, I think when you have that montage style, it shows that everyone is like together, it shows that if it wasn't like that, it would almost look like I'm just going to spots like me and one other person and we're just filming, but like, I think it's kind of cool when you see like a whole group, do like filming in one place. Like that's why I've always liked to like some, like we were talking about earlier, like the weekend videos. I think it was Weekend in Florida video, and like all the clips in it, you could tell they were like all together. Like there was no one who wasn't there, and there was no one who like was off doing something else like away from the group. It was all kind of like everybody was together and like going to spots as a giant group, and like everybody was getting a trick on everything kind of.
A lot of videos seem like the filming and editing is sort of like documentation of the riding, and you don't see any evidence of the filmer's personality or anything, or like choices that they make. How important do you think it is to interject, for the filmer to interject their style and direction to alter the video? Because when I watch your videos, it seems like you're communicating a lot with the people you're filming, like directing them and stuff like that.
I don't know. I think that that's like really important. Like, I think to have good communication between like writer and filmer is like amazing, because it's like if you don't have good communication, I feel like between the two, it's sort of like the writer could be expecting something totally different than the filmer or editor or whoever puts out. You know, they could be expecting something totally different, and maybe when it comes out, they might not be satisfied with it. My group of friends, like in like the most recent video we put out, we had like a skyway section. So on like there was like a couple rainy days or something, and we like went in the skyways downtown and just filmed in the skyways. I'm probably the one like egging them on to like get clips like that, like the Mall of America footage, like an alleyway section in the most recent video. Like I definitely like egg them on to do that stuff the most, probably.
So obviously, like, you give direction to people for like what they should ride, so you can make like montages of an individual spot. But I think it was your latest video where somebody was like playing like a public xylophone. Do you say like, "Hey, go play that, I'll film it," or like are you just coming up to them?
Sometimes like there's sometimes where like they're just doing things and I'll film it, but like that was like I was like, yo, like this is kind of like cool. Like, how often are we gonna like come across like a public xylophone? Like, you should just like mess around on it, and I can use it for the audio. You know, I just think it looks really raw. Like when it's sort of like you can tell that we just sort of like are using the audio we filmed and we're using the footage we filmed. It just like I don't know. I think that's really cool. Like, I think it really shows like kind of the group you're surrounded by, I guess.
Your technique with zooming, I always think of it as sort of, it's like an investigative zoom. Like you're zooming in on faces and you see people's expressions, and then you're zooming in on their scooters and you see that, or like you see what they're wearing. And then also like a lot of times you don't even see what they're riding until they like jump. So it'll like be really tight and then zoom out, and it's like this surprise when you see them, you know, do whatever they're gonna do.
I don't even know like how I sort of like, or like why I started doing that, I guess. Like I think there was, honestly, what probably happened is there was probably like a handful of skate videos that I watched where I was like, damn, like I wasn't expecting that to end the line, or like I wasn't like I think that's so sick when you can have like the most unexpected thing possible, I guess. So like I think that's why I do that, is I like having something that doesn't look planned, or not even doesn't look planned, but just you're not gonna like plan on happening. I kinda like people rolling into a spot and like being totally clueless to like what's coming, I guess, if that makes sense. Like I think that's pretty cool.
So how do you pick which people are in your montages? Is it just all your friends that you ride with? Because whenever I view the videos, I get this sense that everybody, the way they look and the way they ride is a lot different. It's almost like a cast of characters.
It started out with just like me and a couple, like few of my friends. Like as I kept on filming, it was kind of a mix of me getting acquainted with like other people, and also just like seeing other people that were like really good, and me kind of wanting to just like give them a platform to like shine, if that makes sense. Like, for example, this kid Jamin, who I film with, he's really, really good, and he's been filming for I think maybe 2 years, like barely 2 years. He's learning really fast. He's super good, and like I don't know, like I'm the type of person that like if they have a skill set and like I have a way to like sort of show them or like put them on like a platform to like have people see them, like I want to do that. That's kind of why I think like the group of dudes I film with, they're all so different. And that's also why like I love it too, because when we go to a spot, like no two people in the group of people that I film ride the same. So when we go to a spot, everybody has like a different trick sort of. That's like really cool too, because no one's ever like competing with each other. I feel like it's really like if anything, people are just like motivating each other to try different things. just because everybody rides so differently. You never really like see the same things happening. It's always like there's always someone doing something different from the last person.
Yeah, when I see all these people, I mean, I guess it's only been 2 years since you made left field, right? Something like that.
Not beginning of last summer, but like beginning of the summer before, I'm pretty sure.
But it seems like a lot of these people that you're filming your age, they're all teenagers, and that time in people's lives, you go through a lot of different phases. You're like always trying to find your way, and as the videos come out, as a viewer, I feel like I'm following these people, like their riding is changing, and like a lot of what they like, the clothes they wear is changing. So I don't know. It almost kind of feels like I'm following them in the sense of like it's like a vlog, but it's not a vlog at all. They're like speaking with their scooter riding, not scooter riding and speaking. When each one comes out, it's like you're following that whole crew on like the journey of them just growing up. It's like, it just reminds me of like pure adolescence.
That's like a really sick way to look at it. Like I've never thought about that, but like after you saying that, like I've definitely like seen them kind of grow up, and like it's kind of funny too because like me and Jackson Harrington, we're kind of like the oldest ones in the group that we film with, and like I don't know, it's so crazy. Like I forget how young like everybody is that I film with. Like Jamin is, I think he's like 50. He's not. I don't think he's 16 yet, but he's 15. Yeah, like everybody's super young that I film with, which is like I go out filming with them and I kind of like forget about that in a sense. Like I forget that they have to be home like at a certain time, things like that. Like they can't be out like till 2, things along those lines, I guess.
Yeah, that always happens in scootering. Like regardless of how old you are, you're always probably hanging out with a kid that is under 18 years old.
Yeah, completely.
From the B-roll you include in the videos, I really get a sense of the personality of each person, and I feel like I know a lot of the people in the videos from that. Is that something you really set out to do, to show that?
I've definitely tried to push that for sure. I don't know, with like William Strobeck videos or like Johnny Wilson videos, like that sort of style of filming and editing and just writing, whatever. I find that I like them because I can relate to them. For example, like Lance Mountain in one of the first Peralta videos, like he wasn't the best one in it, but he had slappy 50/50s on curbs, like things like that, and kids watching it or the people watching it could relate to it. So people like loved his part, but it probably wasn't the best part in the video. Things like that. So I don't know, really the main goal is like just to like put out something that someone can relate to. I just feel more connected to something, or I feel more something fits me more that I can relate to. Like, well, I don't know, just like the Tilt Transport video, that looks like a group of friends going on a trip and just like filming and riding whatever happens. Like I think that's sick just because I can relate to that. I don't know, there's definitely some things that they're like really cool in scootering, but I just like they're so far off for me that I don't really feel connected to them. So like I guess the main goal for me is just to like show as much personality as I can, almost make the viewer feel like they like know the person. Kind of like you said, like you watch them like in a sense grow up. Like I think it's really cool if I can provide like a more like personal connection with like the people in the video and the people watching it.
The whole group of people that you film, do they have a sense that what they're doing is important? Like they realize that it has recognition, and are they like really motivated to just keep making more videos?
I think yes and no, honestly. I think we're all like aware that like what we've done has sort of like blossomed into something we didn't necessarily expect. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, I guess, but at the same time, it's sort of like at the end of the day, we're all just doing this for fun. We're all doing this because we enjoy this. It's like it doesn't really feel forced. Like there's definitely times where it's like we have to put out a video soon, or like we're working to like finish something up by a certain time, and we're kind of like crunching and like getting in tricks, and it can get a little like stressful in that sense. But I think like during the overall filming of a video, like we're all just having fun. Like it's all like, it's just kind of like, it's just scootering, you know? So it's kind of like, we're all like, at the end of the day, we're all just in it because we enjoy doing it. And I think too, like another thing is, I've talked about this with Jackson before, like we just want something that like we can look back at, because like there's definitely going to be a time in my life where like I can't do this anymore. If I have something like a really good representative of like what I did back then, I'll sort of feel like I did it right, you know, when I'm older, I guess, if that makes sense. I kind of feel like I can have something to look back at to remember like when I was like 18, you know?
Yeah, that's so key. I always think about that. If your scooter riding is entirely on Instagram, that's like the record of your life in scootering. When you're done and you look back on it, it's probably going to be pretty disappointing. Just like these minute long videos. I mean, when I'm around groups of scooter riders, people aren't talking really about like, for like weeks they're like, oh, did you see this one Instagram video? They're not like talking about it. I don't know if it ever could get to that level with it, just because of the nature of the platform.
Yeah, I definitely like, I mean, Instagram is like, you know, it's great for like getting your name out there. Like it's awesome for like showing yourself, because it is like a worldwide thing. Like it's, if the right people like your shit, I guess, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to say, but like it's a great platform in order to like spread your name and things like that. But I also hate it because of Instagram. We sort of have run into this problem where people don't want to watch a half-hour long video. You know, people don't have the patience, just because these minute-long clips or less than a minute-long clips have just lowered our attention spans. I try to show my best scootering, or like show other people's best scootering in a real video for sure. Like, cause like a real video, like a full video is like what I'm going to remember. Like, I think it was the native video that came out recently, and it was just like, it was pretty insane. Like if that stuff was on Instagram, I probably wouldn't care that much about it.
Yeah, the native video was amazing. It's funny that you what you mentioned about the attention span, because yeah, like somebody wouldn't sit through a 30-minute video, but they'd probably sit for 2 hours straight scrolling through 1 minute Instagram clips. Like people probably spend like 4 hours a day or more on Instagram watching clips.
Oh yeah, for sure. People spend so much time on their phones, dude. Like I definitely think that like Instagram has lowered our attention spans. And like I think too, like with all social media, it's kind of been like that. Snapchat, Instagram, like whatever else people are using, like it's so fast that it's almost like overwhelming, and there's so much content at like the tip of your fingers. Especially like kids, I think too, like because kids are just like sponges, you know, they take everything in, so like they can take so many Instagram videos in and like somehow remember them, but they can only remember them for so long, you know. Like I think they'll maybe remember it for a week, and then it's just like it's white noise to them after that, you know.
Yeah, I really feel like somebody could just repost clips monthly, and like probably a lot of people wouldn't notice, like the exact same clip.
Someone could do it, so I wouldn't doubt it at all.
So the montages feel like a really small slice of time, but to me they don't seem dated, because it seems like that's what they're trying to do, like depict like a 1 to 3 month period of time. Have you ever thought about that? Like, have you ever thought like, oh, they seem dated, or they're fine how they are, just in the way you film them with a montage style?
I sort of think because it is like 1 to 3 months, it doesn't really feel that dated to me, just because it's only 1 to 3 months. Like I guess a couple of the skate videos I worked on, like those were both like 2-year projects, and then like this I'm filming a snowboard video right now, and like this is a 2-year project. These scooter videos, like only being a month or 3 months, like that feels really short to me. You know, it's kind of like crazy. I was thinking about this the other day, but I looked back at, I can't even remember. It was someone else's video, but it had like one of the kids I filmed with in it, and it was it was probably like a year ago, and they like looked so young to me. You know, like just things like that. I think it's crazy looking back like that, and I think the 1 to 3 month long videos, like I don't feel that they really look dated to me personally, just because I'm so used to working or helping out with projects that are like longer than that even, you know, so I see like a ton of change in the person who I'm filming, you know?
Yeah. So you mentioned you don't really watch many movies, and one of the reasons I thought you did was because a lot of the time in your montages you do before a spot or before a person comes on or something, you do what is like technically called an establishing shot, sort of like a shot of the area you're riding or something like that. And it's like a classic filmmaking technique. So yeah, that's why I thought you watched films and stuff like that. So what made you do that? Because I think it really leads people into what is actually going on well, and it's not done a lot in scooter videos.
Because I film like more montage style, like videos where it's kind of like everybody mixed in, I really like the riders to be disorganized, like not in a certain order, but I like the spots to be kind of in a certain order. Like I don't want to have night clips spread out through the whole video. Like I'd like to have a nighttime section, you know, because then I feel like I can sort of like find a song that gives off the vibe of like nighttime, you know, things like that. Like that's kind of a rough example, but yeah, like with those shots before like showing the spot, I like kind of seeing like a backdrop, I guess, of like what's about to happen. If I'm dividing sections of a video by spots, I feel like I need something there to like make it apparent that like it's a new place or like it's a new thing, you know? So almost as like a refresher.
So for your soundtrack choices, do you make all those choices, and do you do a lot of trial and error and research? Because a lot of the songs are pretty memorable in the montages.
I kind of try to do one of two things. Like if the song, I sort of try to either find a song that is really unknown, or I try to find a song that's going to have the feeling of like sort of like something monumental in a way to like gain people's attention.
Yeah, the way you structure the songs and the writing is another. It's like really sort of classic like plot structure for a film. Like it like is constantly rising, and then it reaches like this highest peak. And yeah, I mean that's something you mentioned before. That's the way you edit stuff. It's sort of like everything is building up until the end, and I mean even the songs are.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense though. Like I don't know, I've never really thought about it like that. I sort of like a slow start and a big finish, I guess. So I think that's why I do it like that.
My favorite song, I think, in all the videos was I forget who it's by. It's called Big White Clouds.
Oh, I think that's John Cale.
Yeah. That's who it is by.
Yeah, I like that song a lot. And dude, the funniest thing about that song is like that was by luck that I used that song. I'd never listened to John Cale before that. I was just sort of looking for an ender song that would like bring on the vibe of what I wanted to like show people. And I found that and I was like really hyped on it. I don't know, I just thought it was cool. And then instantly I was just like, okay, like I'm going to use this. I think it was literally like a 10-minute period of me thinking about it. And I was just like, okay, yeah, that'll work. It's just kind of like funny. It's funny how like fast everybody who watches it probably thinks that like I put a ton of time like finding that song or like figuring out like what, you know, the perfect song. That was literally me like guessing and kind of hoping for the best, dude. Like it turned out so good. Like I was really hyped on how it turned out, and like it was so. I just thought it was like really cohesive with like the feeling that I wanted to portray.
Yeah, that's how it goes a lot of the time. You spend so much time looking for songs, but once you find a song, you know pretty much instantly, like playing it the
Yeah,
first
dude,
time.
exactly. And I found that too. Like, if I can't tell if a song is like good or not, I'll sort of be like, okay, like if I have to think if it'll work or not, then it won't work. Like I sort of like I have to just be like instantly like I like this. Like this is gonna be good for this. So I don't know. I think that's how like a lot of people are with video editing.
Yeah, for the longest time after that video with the Big White Cloud song, I had heard it before somewhere and I couldn't figure it out. And I'm pretty sure it's in America State Gold. It's in
It is.
yeah.
Yeah, it is, dude. I found out about that after I put it out. Yeah, I put out the video and then I think it was like an Instagram story or something. I saw like a video part with that song in it. And I can't remember who it is, but yeah, it was in. It's funny because there's like a local podcast near me, and this guy actually mentioned that song. He like mentioned that it was in Stay Gold, and instantly I was like, damn, yeah, that's like really funny. Like I honestly didn't realize it. Like it was totally just like last minute decision.
Yeah, it's in Marquis Preston's part. I believe that's his name. So when you're editing these videos, how smoothly does it go together? Like what's your technique? Do you put clips on the timeline as you're filming or do you do it all in the end? Like how do you get a sense of
I do it completely in the end. I do it all, and it's funny because all these videos, like literally all of these videos that I've done, they've all been edited in like 2 days. What happens is I don't know. I'm kind of the type of person that like I can like really imagine what I want and then do it all at the end. So like with a lot of these videos, I'll gather up all the footage. And I'll have a rough like estimate of how many clips will get me a certain amount of minutes. Yeah, all at the end, I have an exact idea of like where I want them all placed. So then at the end, I just put them all together. Yeah, and like too, even with songs, like I usually find all the songs like while I'm filming the video too, and then by the end, it's just like I'll just put in two like two 12, 13 hour days of like just sitting at my computer and like editing. And yeah, that's usually how they get done. Like I don't really edit during the video, like filming at all.
yeah, I think people outside of scootering would probably think that's insane to like they would probably think, well, like how do you know what you have or how do you know it's enough? But I know almost every scooter rider when they're filming video parts, they know every single trick that they've filmed, and so they want to film certain things, and it's always all in their head.
Well, and too, like with something like scootering, I think like skating, scootering, biking, like whatever you do, and like especially like extreme sports, I kind of think people are like this. But like when you do something like this, like it really like it consumes you. Like it's all you think about. So it's sort of like that's how you don't forget about it. It's like I think it'd be different if you were filming a project that like you were hired for. Like I think if you were hired to film something or like it was your job to like film something that maybe you didn't like jump at the opportunity to do, it might make more sense to like edit as you film it and things like that. But yeah, I think with scootering for sure, like everybody in it is so consumed. I think if you're at the level that you're like filming and editing and like going to certain spots to film certain clips, you definitely are like you're so consumed by it that like you're not going to really forget about the footage that you film.
Like so Dakota Knight does Volare and he makes videos that are I think they're a lot different than yours, but it's kind of like the same people too. So how does that work? Like do all of you guys ride together?
I think like Jackson, Jamin, there's definitely certain people that film more with me than Dakota, but like since we're all friends, like they want to be a part of like his projects too, like Volare and the Volare Sky High collab. We all were like, yeah, like let's all just like get clips for it. So it just kind of like worked out. All of us just kind of want to see each other like succeed in whatever we're doing.
Well, yeah, it just seems like there's so much coming out of Minnesota because like your videos come out and everybody has a lot of footage, and then Dakota's video comes out and it's a lot of the same people, and it's like, man, like all of these guys just have so much footage. Like they make so many videos. It seems like they're riding constantly. I mean, I can kind of relate, like since I live in the Midwest too, that when it's not winter or when it's not raining or something, I feel like it's always just kind of the attitude, like you're trying to just make the best out of the weather you have, like really try to do a lot of stuff.
That's definitely our mindset with it, for sure. And like their mindset is heavily like that too, because like there's an indoor park here called Third Layer. I snowboard in the winter, so I never go there in the winter. I don't even really go there in the summer just because I'm not like a big fan of it really, because all of them know that like I snowboard so much and I film so much snowboarding in the winter that like they want to make the most of like my time in a sense. Like they want to make the most of like me having my camera with me. So I think that's like greatly a part of like how everybody just gets so much stuff. And plus too, like because we're all riding together and we all like ride very different ways, it's sort of like everybody's constantly motivating each other to try something new within their like array of like tricks.
I remember you mentioned, not when we were talking right now, but earlier you said that you work like a lot of jobs over the winter. Like it's just all about the summer. Like so you don't have to work at all over the summer. So what's it like during the winter?
Well, during the winter, I kind of do like two things. Last winter, it's been kind of like spottier this winter, but last winter I was working for like this, I guess you could call it like a video production company called 1817, and I was like filming videos for them, and then I was like helping them with their stuff too, and then I was also doing park crew at Buck Hill, so I was just like building and maintaining like terrain park setups. This winter I'm just doing park crew and like filming this video. Yeah, because really the goal is just like work enough to like have money to support myself over the summer. Because like I still live at home, so like I don't really have many expenses. So really it's like I'm paying for gas and like food.
Park crew is, it almost seems like a scooter rider thing. It's like you do it, Parrish does it. I know Shorty does it too in Iowa.
I really like it because it's like I get to ride like what I built. Like that's a really rewarding feeling, like getting a trick on something that like I made. That I think that too is like kind of also feeds into scootering, like how I'll like give an idea to someone. I'll be like, hey, like you should do this on this. And I feel like I almost get like the sense of like a rewarding feeling that like I gave them the idea to like do that and it looked perfect, you know, things like that sort of.
What does your job entail for park crew? Do you just like build stuff and do like maintenance and then snowboard when you don't have anything to do?
It kind of like depends on the day, but you typically like a normal day at work, I'll go in, I'll clock in, like I'll go rake the lips and stuff. So basically like when snowboarders are like hitting one feature in a certain way, there becomes like a divot in like where they're rolling up to it. So my job is basically to like fill that in. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like just maintaining it, like making sure there's no like giant ruts in it or like things like that. We do builds too where like everybody on park crew comes in and we'll like take all the features out and then like we'll draw what we want and then we'll like put that stuff in.
Because Parrish was telling me he just pretty much snowboards all day long.
Yeah, no, that's like a big part of it. Like we definitely do that a lot. Like it's pretty much like go there, do a round on the parks. You have free time for sure.
How do you feel about snow scooters? Do you think it's like a novelty? Would you rather just snowboard, even if the snow scooter was like actually worked pretty well?
It's pretty gnarly. Like I'm not gonna lie, like people do some crazy shit on it, but like I just think it's like a gimmick. Like I don't know. Like I don't think it's like I can't take it seriously. Like I feel like every time I see like a clip of like a snow scooter, it's like very like park trick sort of park scooter rider like influence, which is like fine, like it's still crazy, but like I think it'd be so sick to see like what like a snow scooter could do at like a spot. Like I think that'd be insane. Like I would put that in a video. Like if we could get like a gnarly clip on like some gnarly like creeper rail, like get the ski like on the rail somehow. Like that would be that would be like a crazy clip that I think would be really tight. Like I don't know, I just feel like every time I see a snow scooter, it's like it's in the mountains. Like it's not like relatable to me. So like I just don't really find like that much interest in it, I guess. But yeah, like if someone did something gnarly, I'd be so down. Like if someone did like a gnarly rail or like a gnarly like wall handrail, like that'd be so sick, I think.
Yeah, I don't really follow it much, so I don't know where the technology is at yet, but I feel like it's still at the stage where people are just making their own. Like there's not really like I don't know if they've really perfected it yet.
Yeah, I think that's like the perfect word. Like I don't think it's like definitely been like figured out, you know.
Yeah, but I think I would just rather ride a snowboard if I if I had the choice.
I'll film. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I'd rather just snowboard for sure. I wouldn't switch.
It's funny because that's like the same argument it seems like that a lot of skateboarders have about like real scooters. It's just like, yeah, it's cool, but it's kind of a novelty. Like you could just do it on a skateboard.
Definitely something that plays a big part in it. In that is like what you like grew up with. You know, like what did you do when you were like young? Like how did you even like get to a skate park? Like what led you to a skate park? You know.
So do you know why fingerboarding is such a huge thing with scooter riders? It seems like every scooter rider is like deeply tapped into the fingerboarding culture, and I know you are.
It's kind of hard to explain, but like I think scooter riders are like really in touch with skateboarding. The scooter riders, like, you know, who are a little bit older and are like going to spots and like filming more, like the style of tricks that we do, sort of like as like a quote unquote like street scooter rider, it's very influenced by skating. So I think that we sort of take to it. I think like scooter riders are very familiar with like the tricks. It's just that we don't do it. Fingerboarding, like it's there. It's a miniature version. Like we're all in touch with it, you know.
Yeah, it's just interesting because I have a lot of friends that are skaters, and none of them even know. They just call it a tech deck, and they're like have no idea what that even is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Isaac, like every trip we go on, Isaac will bring his fingerboard and also like a ledge and like I don't know, like a flat bar too, and he just brings it on the trips. And
yeah, no, I fingerboard a lot actually. There's this guy who lives in Apple Valley, like the city next to Burnsville, and he owns this company called like Maze Fingerboards, and he'll send me decks once in a while and stuff like that.
Did you know that that Conor Davidson grew up in the same neighborhood as Mike Schneider? He owns like some big company.
Yeah, that's funny. I learned about that like a long time ago, and it's funny because there's actually a video. I don't remember the name, or like it was an old video, but it was forever ago, dude. It was forever ago. It was on Mike Schneider's channel, and it was Conor Davidson riding like a fold-up razor, and I think he bunny hopped off like a plastic like street kicker over like I think it was like 11 skateboards or something like lined up like on the ground. And it was like really funny because this was after I saw this like after I had like started scootering and like knew about Conor Davidson and things like that. And I saw that and I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was just like, what? Like, am I really watching like a young Conor Davidson right now? Like, it was just so funny.
Have you seen the Conor Davidson pogo stick footage?
No. That sounds insane.
So he was the first person in the world to backflip on a pogo stick.
What? Dude, that is insane, dude.
Yeah,
that's actually crazy.
Yeah, there's a video on his YouTube channel. It's still on it. It like turned into this viral video. Like he did a backflip, and then the pogo stick came up and like smacked him in the face, and it got on like,
oh my god, dude.
It got on all those like viral video TV shows back in the day.
Yeah. What the fuck? I never knew about that. That's insane.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so crazy. I feel like what the fuck? Scooter riders have their, like, just dip into everything somehow, dude. Like,
Yeah.
that's nuts, actually.
Yeah, and he used to make, like, insane trampoline edits, too. Like, and they're all still on his YouTube channel.
That's crazy.
What future plans do you have for making videos and scootering? Obviously, it's winter right now, but the spring and summer are coming up.
Yeah, I'd like to just, like, keep going, like, just keep doing what we're already doing, just, like, filming our own videos and stuff like that as well, and just, like, yeah, I don't know, just kind of keep doing what we're doing, but, like, just progress it, I guess.
Yeah, thanks a lot for doing this.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for interviewing me.
All right, well, I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
See ya. All right, that was it for episode 10. As always, thanks a lot, Erik, for enduring this really long interview. Thanks to Ben Bursell for the graphic design and music for this podcast. With any questions or suggestions, if you want to be on the show or whatever, I'll do my best to answer all emails, and you can send those to thetandempod@gmail.com. And be sure to look for a new episode on the last Friday of every month. And I really can't believe that. I mean, this is the 10th episode, and it's not much longer until it's episode 12. And since one episode comes out each month, that means a year of doing this podcast. And it's been a lot of work, and it's been pretty challenging to stay on track with uploading these, but I really enjoy doing it, and I want to do more, and it seems like it's being received pretty well, so it's all good. So see you next month.